Hello again, welcome back to part 3 of Terraria, but every time I defeat a boss, my subclass is randomized. Before we left off in the last part, I got yo-yos again as my subclass, so that's what we're starting off with. With that out of the way, let's get started. The first thing I did was head straight into the Crimson so I could break some of the Crimson altars, getting Cobalt, Orichalcum, and Titanium. Before mining many of the Hardmode ores, I head to the jungle, as when I defeated the Wall of Flesh, the Crimson spawned right next to my jungle, which was very unfortunate. I spend the next while looking for the Shimmer after that, but after realizing that looking for the Shimmer is going to take a lot longer, I continue mining the Hardmode ores until I manage to get myself a very nice set of Titanium armor. After getting Titanium armor, I expand my arena since it's literally just one platform currently. I then spend a while in the Hollow farming for pixie dust so I could get some fairy wings. Then I actually managed to get the blessed apple mount during this, which was pretty cool. After farming some wyverns, I get myself some pixie wings and then start farming some mechanical bosses. Well then, since I did so badly in those fights, I decided to start trying to fight Queen Slime instead, since that fight is usually a lot easier than the mechanical bosses. First attempt I end up dead, but before the second attempt I find a traveling merchant that's selling the Sergeant United shield, which according to the wiki counts as a boomerang, and even though my current subclass is not boomerangs, I sell all of my life savings to be able to afford the shield. Let's hope that I get boomerangs at least one more time before the end of this playthrough. I also spend a little bit of time working on a jungle house for a pylon, as I really don't feel like having to run all the way to the jungle each time I need to get there. Second attempt goes a whole lot better than the first, as I'm able to easily get Queen Slime into the second phase, and then I easily beat Queen Slime as the blessed apple mount allows you to perfectly keep pace with the boss. Spinning the subclass wheel, I landed on bows, and I wanted to get the Daedalus Stormbow as my weapon. So I started farming hollowed mimics for it, and well... Crystal Vial Shard, random pocket mirror while farming, flying knife, a twin summon, accidentally running straight into a hollowed mimic while farming, another pocket mirror, Crystal Vial Shard, another hollowed mimic, and finally, a Daedalus Stormbow. I then go grab my good old holy arrows to go along with it and challenge the destroyer. With a huge help from the nurse, I managed to take down the destroyer, and now for one of the biggest mistakes I made so far in this playthrough. I got wands only when I spun the wheel, but when I was recording this I really didn't feel like searching for a wand, so I decided to use up another one of the 5 rerolls I allow myself. I now got something that was arguably even worse than wands only, which was the Demolitionist subclass I made up. Yes, I know the Demolitionist subclass and the Engineer subclass aren't technically subclasses, I just put them in there to make the content ever so slightly more interesting. After not even 5 minutes of trying to kill things using bombs, I then use one of my 2 final rerolls to change my subclass once more. I then land on the dreaded Engineer subclass, which now means the only thing I can use to kill enemies is traps. I wait out the entirety of a solar eclipse that was happening during that time, as I am not going to fight solar eclipse enemies that I haven't even set up yet. I make the grand design to help me set up traps, and then I start searching the underground for some dart traps and geysers I can use. I set up a small contraption to test on Queen Slime, and it goes so bad I barely even make anything close to a dent in her health. After that horrible defeat, I think of an idea for something that I can use against Skeletron Prime. My idea was to make something that has a block of dynamite that's around the same height Skeletron hovers, hooked up to a pressure plate, and when he's hovering above me, I step on the pressure plate, causing it to explode, and Skeletron Prime to take damage. I also added a chest above it so I could easily replace the dynamite that was there. Since I can't make any dent whatsoever in the boss's health, I decide to use up the final reroll. Getting whips only, I quickly go through the progression of whips until I get myself a Durendal? Durendal. Yeah. Fighting Skeletron Prime by himself using the Durendal... I can't... Fighting Skeletron Prime by himself using the Durendal doesn't really go too well as I need a bit more DPS, so I try to get the cool whip also, but that doesn't go too well either. Instead of continuing to fight Skeletron Prime, I start going after the twins, but I still end up running into the exact same problem, where I am not doing nearly enough DPS to win in time. I even tried flasks, however that didn't go too well either. I then remembered one important fact, and that is that if you move the Dryad into a graveyard biome, you can purchase seeds that are the opposite of your evil biome. And with those corrupt seeds that I got, I can make an artificial corrupt biome. Now why is that so important, you may ask? Well, with this artificial corrupt biome, I can get two things. Cursed Flames for Cursed Flame Flasks, as well as items to summon the Eater of Worlds. And since the Eater of Worlds is a boss that I haven't fought yet, that means that beating it will allow me to randomize my subclass again. So I do exactly that. I build an underground corrupt biome as well for easier access to get more Cursed Flame Flasks, and I make enough flasks to last me all the way past the next at least. And then I start the fight. Oh, nope, pirates, hold on. Alright, I start the fight. Oh, actually, no, I fought the twins first, but failed since my DPS was too low. Alright, now I start the fight, and well, you'd expect me to do it first try, no problem at all. However, I went down to the ground to collect some loot, not realizing that I was technically outside the corruption during this time, and by the time I got back to the corruption, the Eater of Worlds despawned. The next attempt after that goes much better, however, as I'm able to literally stand still while it runs straight into me. Spinning the wheel, I got guns only, and I was going to use a shotgun until I was able to get the Mega Shark, but after remembering this comment right here, I decided that I was going to stick to the Mini Shark first, since I wanted to stick to guns only, excluding shotguns. I then spend the next while farming for sharks so I can get the shark fin, since that's the only thing left for me to get my Mega Shark. After finally getting my Mega Shark, I challenged Skeletron Prime once more, and easily managed to defeat him after some time. Next subclass is Spear, so I make a Gungnir, funny weapon. I make the funny weapon with the hollowed bars that I had gotten from Skeletron Prime. I would stick to the Gungnir for the twins, however I figured I could use a different spear that you're only able to get with a surface mushroom biome in the truffle. So after waiting long enough for mushroom grass to spread, I built another house for the truffle and I bought myself a mushroom spear. The reason I got the mushroom spear is because unlike some of the other spears, this one actually spawns lingering projectiles that would be very useful when I'm running for my life trying to get away from the twins. I end up getting enough items for a summon and challenge the twins. My DPS is not that great, however I duck and dodge attacks, bring Spasmatism to its second phase, kill Spasmatism, then bring Retinazer into his second phase, and cower inside a house because I'm not dealing with all that laser spam. With barely any time left in the night, I managed to take down Retinazer, leaving the jungle very restless, and me needing to spin the wheel of subclasses once more. Getting short swords, I switch my weapon to the Gladius as it's the best short sword I can get in the vanilla game. I spend a little while longer after this searching for the Shimmer so I can finally give myself some permanent buff upgrades as well as to Shimmer the Gungnir for full hollowed armor. I then start working on a Plantera arena when a goblin army is approaching from the west. Oh no, please no, not with a short sword. After that mess, I finished my Plantera arena, and I then realized just how much pain this fight is going to cause because of the fact that I have to use only short swords. Next attempt, I acquire a new strategy of very lightly poking the giant plant with a funny knife and then running for my life for 2 minutes straight after that, with the help of the Star Veil, of course. However, after around 15-ish minutes of fighting, that still doesn't end up working out. I then went to get myself some Chlorophyte armor instead for some passive damage while I'm running from Plantera, as well as adding a spot for the nerf so I can heal mid-fight. Some of you might think that me using the Chlorophyte set bonus for extra damage could be considered cheating, but for this run, I decided to allow all classless damage, so the Chlorophyte armor set is fair game. After these preparations, this next attempt goes pretty well as I'm able to easily make it into Plantera's second phase, with a huge help from the nurse. Unfortunately though, I ended up dying to Plantera's tentacle right after. The attempt after that goes so much better. I easily make it to the second phase, but the nurse, well... I continue trying to avoid Plantera, however, because I no longer have a nurse, and it's nighttime, so no new nurse would even be able to move in, I die when Plantera has around 5,000 health remaining. I ran into the same problem time and time again. I do really well until Plantera gets a little too close to the nurse, killing her almost instantly, and me shortly after. This attempt I tried to heal but was unable to since Plantera got to me before I could get to the nurse. Another death, then I try a very special money-making method that I saw on Reddit that someone discovered completely by accident, and challenge Plantera one more time. In an extremely close call, I get Plantera down super low. However, I am also super low. Plantera kills me with 100 HP left, but my Star Veil saves the day and delivers the final blow. Before I end off part 3 of the randomized subclasses playthrough, I need to spin the wheel one more time to see which subclass I get. I landed on summons only, however I'm going to be saving this for the next part where I finally beat Terraria with randomized subclasses. Well, hopefully you've enjoyed watching this part of Terraria but with randomized subclasses, and well yeah, see you in the next one. Nah.